Look around you. 2 out of 3 of you guys are likely to die due to opioid overdose. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, March 5th, 2020. You need to take this situation seriously because you might have some friends or family members who are currently taking opioids. Or they're going to start taking opioids. You need to warn them about the risk. The risk of taking opioids are it could shorten lifespans, or it could lead to many overdoses in a short amount of time. First, I'll discuss the problems of opioid crisis. Then I'll tell you solutions or preventions you could do during the opioid crisis. And lastly, I'll tell you the benefits of opioids being discussed as a problem. First, you need to know what opioids are and what are considered opioids. Opioids are a drug to suppress pain. And opioids, the main opioids are hydrocodone, oxycodone, heroin, and fentanyl. The main problems of opioids are the misuse of opioid prescription and doctors overprescribe drugs. They are used mainly for pain management, but some people take advantage of it and use it for the high. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine, Medellin Plus, August 18, 2020, misuse of prescription opioids and heroin affects more than 2 million Americans. This shows how serious the problem is because it affects a large amount of people misusing the prescription. The misuse of prescription could lead to serious dependence and addiction to the drug. The drug will make your brain think, I need more of the opioids, but in reality, you don't need any more. The other problem is overprescribing opioids. It is a problem because the increase of prescription opioids has a direct correlation to the number of deaths and overdoses in the U.S. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, March 5th, 2020, there were almost 58% opioid prescription written for every 100 Americans. That is really alarming on how many people are currently taking opioids. That's almost half of the population. You need to think about your families and friends that could be taking opioids and struggling to get off it, and tell them to seek help. There needs to be a fix or solution to the opioid epidemic. It can't be taken lightly. There are various ways we could prevent an even greater epidemic. According to the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, SCDHEC 2019, preventions of opioid crisis are education for healthcare workers, education for the community, and drug monitoring. Education for healthcare workers will allow them to use fewer opioids as pain management and suggest other methods of treatment. Education for communities will allow adults and kids to talk about the opioid crisis and know what it is and stay away from it. It could also allow families to help other family members or their own family members who are going through the situation, and it could give them information that are provided from DHEC that they learned from the meetings. Drug monitoring allows DHEC to work with law enforcement and government to identify hotspots and improve investigation on opioid usage, and try to lower the number and talk to doctors about the prescriptions and try to lower them. The benefits of forming healthcare worker communities and monitoring opioid prescription provide more resources to people and patients about opioids. The resources allow Americans to see how serious the epidemic really is. As opioid is getting known by Americans, it can bring awareness to people at hand. When it brings awareness, it allows teens and adults to be educated about the problem and warn others about the problem and tell them not to take it or seek for alternatives. The given resources gives you a warning about the drugs and tells you the side effects of the drugs. In conclusion, the opioid epidemic is a serious issue that should be solved. As the opioid epidemic continues, it could cause overdoses and could kill lives. The first step is to provide resources about the opioid epidemic, which allows people to be educated or known about the problems of opioids. It also allows you to reject the use of opioids to save lives or not to be dependent on the drug. My mom personally would not take opioids to suppress the pain. She would just find alternatives in treating the pain. Opioids should be taken lightly if you don't need it badly to use alternative treatments, like my mom did. Thank you.